The DCEU. The DCEU has been met with polarizing reception throughout the years since it had been active from the year 2013, when it started with Man of Steel. After that, Warner Bros. Felt the urge and pressured the future DC filmmakers to start building the universe in a way that Marvel did it in 10 years they wanted to do it in less than 5 years and 3 movies in, almost ruining the potential of being something bigger and better than the Marvel Cinematic Universe. After Man of Steel, movies like Batman vs Superman, Suicide Squad failed to reach the expectation that longtime fans were waiting for, especially seeing these icons like Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman all together on the big screen for the first time. But they failed to establish the characters who they are in the first place. They established more the world-building elements that make the characters to make us care about them. Here, I'm going to talk about how the Suicide Squad fixes this DCEU problem. Now, before I start, I want to give a couple heads up first. This video will contain spoilers for the Suicide Squad, so if you have not watched the movie, then spoilers beware. And I would like to also point out that yes, DC has had their good share of character-based movies like Wonder Woman and Shazam, but none of them wow me in a way that it makes me click, gave me the urge to watch them again to notice the few details I might have missed in the first viewing. So, take this video as an opinion, not a fact. Now, The Suicide Squad is the sequel/soft reboot to the poorly received Suicide Squad movie released back in 2016. This new film is better from the first one from every aspect possible. From the filmmaking, the passion behind the scenes from the cast and crew, and the topic of the day, the characters. The Suicide Squad members are usually the worst of the worst villains that are willing to do anything to get out of prison. James Gunn added a level of humanity to them to make the audience care about them. But this movie shows that even the darkest people can have a certain level of humanity in them. From the beginning of the film, we see a conversation between the first group of members of the squad that establishes that they have a personality, starting to get to know them until, they all die in the beach tank to blackguard. Which, before I continue, did anyone else notice in the first Suicide Squad movie that nobody dies? Like, that was so strange. Like, how can you name a Suicide Squad movie and nobody died? That's so weird. And there were no stakes in the film. But this time, this scene establishes that nobody is safe in the movie and that anybody can be killed. And as the promotional poster says, don't get too attached to anybody. The second team that arrives on the beach consists of Ratcatcher 2, King Shark, Bloodsport, Polka Dot Man, Peacemaker, Harley Quinn, and Rick Flag. We see each character's flaws and inner struggles while trying to complete their mission. Bloodsport, or aka Robert Dubois, starts the movie from being a negligent father due to his past trauma that he received from his own father, avoiding his daughter too because he's afraid of making the same mistakes that his father made. Bloodsport manages to grow over his father's fears thanks to his bonding with Ratcatcher 2. 2 is the heart and soul of the film because she uses the love that her father taught her to see that there is good in the hearts of her fellow squad member, using her kindness to help Bloodsport, making him into a leader after almost being eaten by King Shark. Instead of using her anger to attack him, she instead tries to reach Tunanawe and become his friend, because as he says, he has no friends. And he doesn't eat people because he thinks that it's good. It's because it's the only thing he knows. It's his way to survive. Polka Dot Man goes from being an abused experiment to becoming an actual superhero before, Peacemaker is a man with a flawed ideology, willing to do anything to maintain the peace, even killing his own teammates in the process. Rick Flag demonstrating what it's like to be an actual hero and leader and saving his teammates even though it would jeopardize the mission. Harley Quinn, on the other hand, even though she doesn't have that much of an impact, she does has a character development that she's willing to do anything to avoid being abused from any relationship that in the upcoming future, because she has now friends, especially her friendship with Rick Flag. All these characters matter to the story and make us care for them. I almost cried when Rick Flag and Polka Dot Man got killed. Even Starro the Conqueror, instead of being portrayed as a dumb monster, he is shown as a victim of torment and abuse from the Thinker. James Gunn has the great ability to create this level of humanity in the lesser known characters while being flawed at the same time. He did it very well with the Guardians of the Galaxy and make them a household name in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Gunn in this film decided to take the aim that even though the world can be a cruel place, there is always that light at the end of the tunnel that shines in people. This movie is the primary example of how you should establish characters in a universe so big like the DCEU. It breaks my heart to this day that Batman has not gotten this well development like Ratcatcher 2. You know what it's like for me, Al the movie, to care more about Ratcatcher 2 than freaking Batman? It still blows my mind to this day how a small scale character managed to impact me more than my all-time favorite superhero. DC should take notes from this movie and focus strictly on the character so that later they can create their own crossover films like future Justice League movie that will come in the upcoming future. While at the same time, this excites me because DC can make an impact on bringing smaller scale characters to the big screen or television series inside the DCEU and make them icons like the Holy Trinity that they hold.